Everybody, it's Terry with paperologist.blogspot.com, and I wanted to share with you a card that I made using the Sizzix Puzzle Piece dies and a background stamp from Hero Arts. Here's the inside of the card, and I wanted a custom sentiment, so I used my laser printer and my InDesign page layout software, and you'll see that next. So here's a layout of how I made it. My finished card, when it's folded, was supposed to be 4 inches by 8.5. And you'll see my laser printer actually shifted a bit because I used a 110-pound white card. So it was a little thick for my laser printer. And there's a little bit less space on the other side of the word day than I had originally planned for. So what I had to do was just do a slight modification. This card is designed to go in a normal letter size envelope. And so what you see there is I'm measuring the little bit of amount of space that's on the other side of the day, and I'm going to mirror that on the other side of the H. So what I did was I took my ruler and I just measured it, and then I marked where the actual score would be. So that's the center point of the card, and you'll see that next. So then when I scored it and folded it, what I'm going to do is actually cut the folded paper after I score it. So you'll see that coming up here. Here I am measuring, and I wanted it to be balanced on both sides of the card so I had an even white space. And I'm using a score pal here, and I'm just lining up where I want the score to be, and I'm following my pencil mark. I'm going to erase that away. No one will ever know but you guys who saw it. So you can see that I have quite a bit of extra overhang there. So what I'm going to do is cut that away. So I think that my finished card ended up being, instead of folded to be 4 by 8.5, I think it turned out to be closer to 3 3/4 folded by 8.5. So it fits in the number 10 envelope perfectly, and no one would ever know that I had originally designed it to be slightly smaller. So there you go, and there it is cut. These are the envelopes that I chose to use. I picked these up at Big Lots quite some time ago. The red envelopes I picked up at the after Christmas sales, and you can find those at Target or Walmart, and they're really great because they go to 90% off or something. So that's how the card's going to fit. And now I'm going to get ready to decorate the outside of the card. I'm going to use my Sizzix machine here, and this paper is really pretty, and I'm trimming it here because I want to capture the little pink hearts that are on this paper, and I also need to have it a fairly narrow width to go through my little die cut machine. So that's what you see happening there. The little red machine that I'm using is called a Sizzix, I think it's called a Sidekick. And what's nice about this machine, this is the first little die cut machine that I purchased, and I got it actually Tuesday morning as a kit. And I was testing there, and I was happy to see that it actually stuck to my score pal backside of my mat there. Because I usually die cut on a table, but I wanted to do this for the camera. I also like it because it's small, so you could take it to a crop if you wanted to. And if you don't have a lot of space, I think it's a great way to start. Obviously you have a maximum width that you have to fit into, but there are a lot of dies this size that I think are perfect for cards. I also use it a lot for the 12-inch dies, and it runs through great. So here we go. Those little pink hearts I was talking about, I'm trying to line those up on the puzzle pieces. And this paper has a cute back side to it as well. This paper I picked up at Paper Tales, which is one of my local scrapbook stores. Really nice store. And here we are die cutting. I also have a cuddle bug, so I could do this on the cuddle bug as well. This is the Hero Arts background stamp, and it looks like a crossword puzzle. I'm going to make a Versamark watermark on this dark chocolate brown paper. It is a Prismacolor paper, and it has a texture on one side and is smoother on the other. I'm stamping on the smoother side, so I'm just giving the Versamark a good once over the back of the stamp. And you could use a brayer here like Kwerner did in her latest video, but I just decided to go for it. And so I'm pushing down here, and then I'm going to flip it over next. And when I flipped it over, I got a little bit of shift on the image. It wasn't gutsy enough just to drop it. But actually it worked out really nicely. So there we go, and I'm pushing down kind of hard. And we're going to peel that up. And I'm actually pretty pleased. Like I said, I wanted a watermark, and I used my heat gun just to set the ink so that I could continue on with my card, and that worked pretty well. So no embossing powder, just the watermark. Next I'm going to ink the edges of my sentiment. I'm using a little makeup Q-tip here instead of makeup sponge or one of those little finger, I don't know what they're called, those little sponge goodies that go on the edge of your finger, which are really nice. I just couldn't find mine handy, so here we go. I found that I was a little heavy-handed with the ink, so I went back in with a mini mister and misted the paper, and then I also just wiped off some of the ink, which actually worked pretty well because it doesn't make the paper look quite as stark of a white. And here I am, I'm contemplating ribbon. I end up not using the ribbon simply because it's more of a masculine card, and plus I couldn't figure out where to put it, so no ribbon there. Tape runner, I often use score tape, but I thought I'd give this tape runner a try. Before I adhered it, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have the card upside down, so make sure that we're on the right side. I know lots of people don't put sentiments on the inside of their cards, but for this one it was important to me. So there's my paper. It got a little warped when it got wet, but I actually liked how it turned out, so that was a happy accident. I'm using some pop dots here, and actually use the edges of the void area of the circles. And here I used some circle pop dots for the puzzle pieces. Now you'll see in a later shot I go back and I end up putting little trimmed out pieces on the tabs of the puzzle pieces, so to pop up those and to just give them a little bit more security. I decided not to round any of the corners because I wanted the contrast of the square corners with all the rest of the design elements. And once again, here I am, maybe ribbon on the inside, didn't do it. So here's the finished card, and the last touch, I guess, is to apply this stamp that says hand stamped by me, and that's a little Hero Art stamp. It's pretty small, so it's subtle on the back. And here I am. I think I'm going to show you, I reinforced the little tabs of the puzzle pieces, and I think that ended up being a good choice because I'm going to mail this card. And the item you see behind there is a template from the Postal Service, and it's called Letter Size Mail Dimensional Standards Template, and I'm going to talk over the video there. The item number, I think this is 1050251. And when you put a card like this in the mail, it has to be a certain, or under a certain thickness, as well as the weight. So one of the tests they do is, will it fit through this little template thing? And I was fortunate enough that the post office gave me one, our main post office. It happened to be broken, so I think that's the reason they gave it to me. But check that out, see if they'll give you one, or at least be sure and check before you mail your card. Here's another card that I made recently, and there's the inside of it. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thanks for watching, and please leave a comment and visit my blog at paperologist.blogspot.com. Thanks so much.